It's a Monday morning. It is the 22nd of July 2024. Good morning to you. Welcome on board VOP. It is our first broadcast of the week, and hopefully we set a very good tone for the rest of the week. How was your weekend? I hope you spent it restfully. Mine was very restful, even though the news doesn't rest. We saw a lot of basketballs over the course of the weekend. The federal government and Dangote, they were in a face-off all through the weekend. This one was giving accusations, this one was rebutting. It was just a whole lot, right, between Dangote and the federal government. There was also some conversations had with Philip Shaibu, who defected to the APC. Officially, he talked about the fact that he's been banned from entering Edo State. Well, we'll get into all the nitty gritty of the news in just a bit. Meanwhile, all the way in the United States, we have the President, Joe Biden, backing out of the race, the presidential race this November. And he finally endorsed Kamala Harris, the Vice President Kamala, that November is way too far for someone who's incompetent to run the government. Well, we'll get into all that in just a moment. Meanwhile, the federal government has demanded Dangote's refinery's diesel report and talking about the fact that his diesel is inferior to others. Okay, we'll get some more insight into that conversation. I don't know if this is the cabal. You know that when it comes to oil in Nigeria, there's some cabals who are untouchable. Their names remain, they are quote unquote unknown gunmen. Of 14 billion naira agricultural implements in Yobe State. We'll get into the nitty gritty of it all in just a moment. Reports about the refinery sulfur content will be out on Monday, which is 100 ppm. So, in terms of quality, their quality is inferior to the station. Meanwhile, there's been allegations of monopoly in the oil sector with Dangote, as well as him trying to invest in steel as well. He was talking about investing in steel, and he says he's halting proposed investment in steel to avoid any monopoly accusation. Okay, okay. Why don't you go ahead and call the person's name? Let's know who you are. Let's listen to what he had to say about it.
Monopoly. But we then would say the first plant we set up. But when we got, when people keep talking about all this monopoly, is this only when you stop people, you block them through legal. Some of them maybe they even got money. We did not. Or we paid. Monopoly.
All right. Well, that was the voice of the president of Dangote Refineries, and he was talking about this issue of monopoly and him dropping down the fuel prices, the petrol prices. But we'll move on to another voice in the news this morning. It is the voice of Ireti Kingibe and the Senate President Godswill Akpabio trending at #1 on X over the weekend because netizens who are social media users were angry, infuriated by his decision to counter the FCT Senator Ireti Kingibe's motion for the federal government to rebuild the Karo market. Tasha Akbuti stood in the defense of Senator Ireti, saying the people are the government. Well, let's listen to that conversation.
When rebuilt to the victims.
Apologies for that. I just got a message that the audio wasn't playing out for you, the radio listeners. Apologies. We'll play that again just for your listening pleasure.
Need for safer public places. I urge the FCDA and Abuja Municipal Area Council to offer the shops when rebuilt to the victims at a subsidized and affordable rate in order not to disenfranchise the original owners of the shops. I so submit.
So why do you use government money to build community market, maintain the status, and hand over to the community? So what I'm saying in the sense is that the prayer is faulty, but is there anybody who wants to second this prayer?
Yes, sir. I stand and I speak to second the prayer as amended by Senator Ireti Kingibe. If your question has to do with the disbursement or the utilization of government funds in rebuilding a community market, sir, the people are the government. The communities are the government. So it's like the people using their money to their own advantage. So I stand to second the motion as amended by Senator Ireti Kingibe, sir.
The need for safer public.
Well, the senator was dragged for his statement, and a lot of people recall that the Senate president had once thrown Ireti Kingibe under the bus while addressing the verbal altercation between the FCT minister Nyesom Wike and her. He called Ireti a distraction. You remember that conversation that was had when Wike said if she likes, she should come and run again. We are here. She will not win the elections. You remember that conversation? Well, Senator Godswill Akpabio was also dragged into it as well. Akpabio had also interrupted Ireti on another occasion when the FCT senator complained about not being carried along with when the FCT supplementary budget was being prepared. She lamented that she was never invited to any meeting where the budget was discussed. Now they don't drag Senator Godswill Akpabio as they've described him and his behavior as disgusting and bullish, while others are saying he's unfit to be a ruler. He's also been berated for harassing and belittling his female colleagues in the Senate. Well, that is the conversation that is being had at the moment. Recently, a particular individual was arrested by the DSS for they've begun inciting. So, Omoyele Sowore started this entire conversation, right? He talked to this individual. He talked about the fact that his name is Bashir Abubakar. He was a Kano businessman in Quarry Market and a degree holder in Al Kalam University, Katsina State. He posted that shirt on his social media handle that end bad the comment on that particular shirt was the inscription rather on that shirt was end bad government in Nigeria, Arewa Mufarka. He wrote it for those that are interested in the protest about the hardship this economy brings. And yesterday he was arrested by the Nigerian security at Quarry Market. So Moyele Sowore took up the mantle to drag the DSS. He said they had begun inciting the public to riot even before the D-Day. Early this morning, they arrested a young man, Bashir Abubakar, in Kano. His offense was that he had advertised that he's made T-shirts for the upcoming protests with that particular inscription: "End Bad Governance in Nigeria 2024, Arawa Mufarka." That is what he wrote on his shirt. So you begin to wonder, how does he constitute a national threat that the entire DSS will go ahead to pick up this individual from the market? That is a question a lot of people have been asking. And in response to that, Omoyele Sowore went ahead and went on a dragging spree. He listed out those inciting the public to riot. He said Ahmed Bola Tinubu is one of those inciting the people to riot. He listed out 10 people. I'm just going to breeze through. He said Ahmed Tinubu is inciting the people to riot for engaging in massive corruption, election rigging, and destroying the middle and lower class by terrible economic policy decisions since coming to power May last year. Number 2, Senator Godswill Akpabio and the House of Reps Speaker for leading the most useless Senate and HOR. According to his words, Yemi Cardoso, CBN governor, for destroying the value of the naira. The IG of police, Egbeto Kun, for reducing the police to a corrupt and irredeemable national institution. Well, this particular allegation was long before he came on board. Chairman of the EFCC for letting corruption flourish by ignoring the real financial criminals while going after inconsequential low-level crooks. The GMD of NNPC for stealing over $3.8 billion through subsidy scam. The Chief of Army Staff, Nigerian Army, for conniving with bandits and terrorists through outright sabotage of national security. Number 8, the Chief of Nigerian Navy for conniving with crude oil thieves to deny Nigerians of crude sales and revenue. 9, the Comptroller General of Customs for conniving with cross-border criminals to deny Nigerians billions of dollars in excise and duties. Number 10, the judges who receive bribes to pervert the court of justice across our courtrooms. He now asked Nigerians to add theirs, the list of those who are inciting the public to embark on a protest. He said, "We are not rioting, we just want a revolution, and there is no going back." Well, that is what Omoyele Sowore has said. I mean, there's a lot in the news that I'll take probably after my conversation with Rufai Oseni, but this conversation was had with a senator, the deputy speaker, talking about Ben Kalu, who talked about the fact that Nigerians crying is right, but the solution is not found in carrying placards and lining the streets like smaller countries like Kenya. We are the giants of Africa. And then we will ask the Deputy Speaker, Ben Kalu, how do giants protest? Please go ahead and let us know. We're very, very interested because at this point in time, it seems there's there's something different going on. Nigerians shouldn't protest. Nigerians shouldn't let their voices be heard. Nigerians shouldn't make inscriptions on their shirts talking about ending bad governance. If you don't feel personally attacked, to go ahead and carry that individual. Let's listen to what Ben Kalu had to say.
Nigeria. Found copying a country larger than us. The references that are made today to Kenya and all the rest of them, they are smaller country to Nigeria. Is not found in our raising placard. It's found in supporting the policies of government and understanding that these policies need time to begin to materialize. Moving.
600k. So if you sacrifice 300k out of your salary, what's it going to do for Nigerians? Anyway, there was a video that made rounds over the course of the weekend. It saw youths destroying a billboard with the president's face on it. On Twitter, the microblogging users who uploaded the video claimed the incident occurred after the Vice President Kashim Shettima visited the state on Saturday. Well, let's watch and see how all these conversations are going to pan out. Meanwhile, I'll try as much as I can to reach out to Rufai Oseni and get his 2 cents on these matters arising right here. Bello Turji, who is a leader of a group of outlaws operating in northern Nigeria, he has blamed the Minister of Defense, Bello Matawale, for not handling banditry effectively when he was the governor of Zamfara State. In a video released on social media, he linked the escalation of banditry in Zamfara State and other northern states to the policies mapped out by Matawale when he was governor. He said he didn't handle banditry effectively when he was governor. Well, we'll watch and see how some of these conversations and accusations have been made so far, how they pan out. Meanwhile, over the course of the weekend, the Nigerian army reiterated their ban on unauthorized use of military camouflage remains in full effect. There was a video surfaced over the course of the weekend. It's depicted a soldier molesting a civilian for wearing army desert camouflage uniform, and because of that, you know how X is now, Twitter, a lot of people dragged the Nigerian army, and they went ahead to reiterate that the ban on unauthorized use of military camouflage remains in full effect. So if you have any camouflage in your wardrobe, my darling, just keep it, okay? Keep it for your peace of mind. Keep it. Now, the federal government says it will spend an average of 36 billion naira to convert 30,000 petrol or diesel-powered vehicles to start running on CNG in the next 90 days. The government stated that it had acquired 30,000 CNG conversion kits for distribution free of charge nationwide within the period.
Yes, 2022, I remember when we had fuel oil that was not a month after, so I knew it was going to be not surprised. Yeah.
All right.
There's no problem. And that's political for me.
Yes.
When it doesn't favor them, they pivot. When it favors them, they say it's the best thing since last bread. So don't believe them, don't take their word seriously. Yeah.
All right, we have other voices in the news, of which I will play out to you at this point. We have Senator Ali Ndume breaking silence on his removal as chief whip, and he defended his utterances. 0808-312-8618 is the number to call to be part of our conversation this morning. 0808-312-8618 is the number to call. You can send a WhatsApp message as well. And we're live on YouTube at Voice of the People Abuja. We're live on YouTube at Voice of the People Abuja. Adeomi, it's like you were just waiting for me to just call the number out. All right. Good morning, Adeomi. Adeomi, help me off your radio now. I can't hear you well.
Somebody close to me say, "Why am I laughing?" I'm with my sister. How you doing, my sister? How you doing? Happy New Week.
Happy New
Week.
Week to you.
Mr. Rufai, pollution of the thing that we are talking about is in the right way. We need to do it ASAP. The government is telling us to support their policy. So as you support the president who bought a presidential jet, brand new one, who used over 200 million by bulletproof tire, where are they taking the car to? We are not supporting them. We cannot let them know. We will not support. We will do it, but not in a violent way. We will do it. We have to protest. We have to protest. Protest is normal. Mr. President is the architect of it. When Jonathan was there, he, Buayo, Jesus, Kalu, Akpabio, and what they call themselves, Okocha, Mechi, they all protested. Jonathan didn't do them anything.
Hello. Okay. Do well to call me back. 0808-312-8618. 0808-312-8618 is the number to call to be a part of our conversation right about now. Before we wrap up the show, I have Senator Ali Ndume talking about this issue. Let's take a listen.
Anything wrong. I did not say anything wrong, and therefore I want to state that I stand by all my statements in the interview I granted. Secondly, the party that recommended to the Senate that I should be removed from being the chief whip of the Senate, I take that as an act of God, because if it is God that gave me that position, it is God that took it through APC, so I bear no grudges about that. After all, I did not contest to be the chief whip. I did not contest to be the vice chairman of appropriation committee. I contested to be the one of the senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And alhamdulillah, God granted me that victory. And I'm happy with God, what God has given to me.
Well, that is what Senator Ali Ndume had to say about him being removed as the chief whip. Go ahead and give me a call back, 0808 312 8618. 0808 312 8618 is the number to call. There was also another conversation had about Dangote's refinery, talking about the fact that his refinery is probably one of the best in West Africa and Africa as a whole. All right, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning to you.
Yeah, my name is Emmanuel. I'm calling from Maraba.
Emmanuel, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Yes, you know, protest is a constitutional right. So what the government should do is to protect the protesters. But, you know, in most cases, most protests are usually peaceful until there is any form of intimidation. So instead of the government to intimidate the protester, is to show them they are with them and their voice should be heard. And according to the Rufai, he said the policy that has the people, there's no way the people can support such policy. Now, about 2 months ago, the Vice President House was renovated with a sum of 22. The yacht, presidential yacht, was purchased around 12 billion naira. Yet we are into Nigeria should bear with them and we should try to understand their policy. The president just acquired multi-million naira jets recently. Yet they still want us to understand when is these people coming out. And one of the most dangerous things is that they are not even coming out. The president is not even coming out to sympathize. No, in fact, they want us to understand a policy. They are not even coming out to show us the roadmap to where we are going. We are left in the dark, yet they want us to support, which is not possible. Protest is our right as Nigerians, and they should provide security for us. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much, Emmanuel from Maraba. Thank you so much for your call.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for your messages and your call as well. Okay, I've got a WhatsApp message here that says, thank you so much, Gesere, for this conversation. You talk about Senator Godswill Akpabio and Ireti Kingibe. And we in Cairo, okay, I think this is someone from Cairo. I'm looking to see your name, but I can't see anything. He says, we in Cairo really, really suffered from that fire. Yet Senator Godswill Akpabio is saying that they will not help Nigerians to rebuild that market. Okay, we will protest. Let us see what they will do. All right, let's watch and see how that plays out. I mean, constitutionally and according to your fundamental human rights, you have the right to protest and let your voices and your views be heard. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Adeomi, call on the 8 o'clock hour. Let's have a conversation. All right. The time is fast spent for this conversation.